Hello and welcome to Red's Gardens. This is the second garden tour of the 2020 gardening season. A little bit has changed in this area. The lilies have started to bloom and they are so beautiful. It's a mixed color in here. We don't ever remember which color is where, so it's a surprise. Beautiful surprise. The tomatoes here definitely need to get cages on them. They should have had them on them a while ago, but we haven't had a chance to get that done. There's always work to be done in the garden. And this is just our tomato area closest to the house. This garden area still needs to be weeded and mulched, but some of the flowers are coming in, and we have about 8 tomato plants in here, I believe. This is probably my favorite garden area this year. It's loaded with about 65-ish tomatoes, I believe. And this area I absolutely love. It's got 3 tomatoes that I'm going to cage and not prune. I'm going to do an experiment because I prune most of my tomatoes. And this year I'm going to not prune these 3 to see how well they do. But look at how beautiful the flowers are in the middle. Oh, I just love this. There's spinach in the back underneath the tree in the pots. Seems to be doing really well. We've harvested quite a bit off of it. And right here we have peas all down the side of this chicken wire fence to keep the dogs out. And there are new peas coming up at the end or bottom where there are spaces so that we can harvest more. And this is a little tiny zinnia patch in front of Madison's corn patch. And I counted the other day and I think there was about 57 ears of corn growing, and they're already knee-high by 4th of July. She was excited about that. These are 2 rows of onions around the rocks, red and white onions, I believe. And back here, we have some walking onions that are just here every year, no matter what. And then we have some volunteer sunflowers and milkweed in the back. And 3 rows of tomatoes. These ones are a little bit smaller than the ones over here on the side. They were all planted at the same time. But the ground here has been gardened before. The ground over here is all new, so that's the only thing I can think that's different. And this does get a little bit more shade, I think, because of the trees. So that might be the reason too. And in the back here we have a strawberry patch, small little strawberry patch that has produced us quite a few little strawberries if we've gotten to them before the birds. So now we have a net over them. Here are even more beautiful tomatoes. These things just really sprouted up in this last week. They were much, much smaller, and then I came out here and was blown away and noticed I needed to weave a lot of them because some of them are reaching the top of the weaving wire or twine, so we need to add more. But it's really easy to do it when they're younger and smaller and easier to move than when they're getting bigger, so it can catch up to you really fast. But it's done, and I still need to prune these tomatoes. I prune almost all of our tomatoes. Tomatoes that are indeterminate can be pruned, and tomatoes that are determinate, like these silver fir tree tomatoes right here, and another tomato that I have right here, which is called Ace 55. Those are determinate, which means they'll only grow to a certain length, and then they'll stop growing and won't put off any more fruit. All my other tomatoes, which is the kind I prefer to grow, are indeterminate, and they just grow and grow and grow until the plant dies because of frost or bug damage. So that's why we prune the suckers back, to give more fruit. Down here, I just wanted to show a marigold that the marigold with the flower I bought from seed. I bought from a plant at a nursery. And the marigold in the back that doesn't have any flowers on it, I planted from seed. I'm blown away by the size difference, and I think I will always grow my marigolds from a seed. Here are my 2 strawberry baskets, and they are actually looking really good. A lot of new life. This one here was planted a week before this one, and you can see the noticeable difference in growth, but it makes me feel really good that these are gonna possibly even produce some berries this summer, maybe late summer. This garden area here has a mixture of things going on. It has broccoli over here. These are all broccoli plants that look relatively good. Not a lot of pest damage, so that's nice. And along the fence back there, we have slicing cucumbers growing for our neighbors. And we did plant some bean plants in between to see how they do. And I actually am just now noticing they've all come up. Wow. I haven't been out here in a few days. That's pretty cool. Almost everyone I've planted in between these are pole beans, so they'll grow right fence. Here we have some kind of sad looking cabbage. These ones don't look too bad. I'm holding out hope. Right here we have some cauliflower. Looks like there's a little pest damage, so we should spray these with neem oil. And back here are all of our Grandma Ellen's raspberries that have been growing since my husband was a child, and probably before. That's our compost. And if you can see the compost, there's actually tomatoes growing out of the compost. We have volunteer tomatoes growing everywhere in the yard. That's a pot of weeds, really funny. Some lettuce, another area of some zinnias mixed in with some raspberries that are going to be ready soon. That's so exciting. I don't really like raspberries, but my family loves them. Here, along this chicken wire fence, we have pickling cucumbers growing so we can make pickles. And I planted pea plants that look like they're also, or pea seeds that look like they're also coming up. 2 different kinds all along the row. So that's exciting to see how they might turn out. And here I have planted some new squash seeds because some got damaged when stuff was getting done in the garden. So I just wanted to plant some more. These are cucumbers growing up the fence or up the trellis to the pretty little birdhouses. And all down this row is nothing but squash and zucchini. Different squashes. There's spaghetti squash, there's another winter squash, there's yellow crookneck squash, and zucchinis. And these have flowers on them like they're going to be ready to put off fruit, but because they're so small, I'm just going to pluck these flowers off so the plant puts more energy into producing to the plant and the leaves and growing rather than fruit when it's so small. That's not going to harm it. It's actually going to increase your fruit when the plant is bigger. Just be gentle so you don't pull anything off. Now these ones I'm going to leave on there only because this plant is much bigger and much more established. And that is my plant I started from a seed in the house and then transplanted out here. All the ones down here are ones I bought as starters, other than the new seeds I just sowed. These ones are all also plants that I started from seed. And these ones are still kind of small, so I will pull these off as well. And again, it's not going to hurt your plant at all. I'll come back and do the rest later. There's quite a few over here, but look, they're crawling. These ones over here are starting to crawl and get much bigger. And in here, this is our box of lettuce. And lots of seeds didn't come up, but we can certainly put more in there and get more lettuce. And we can harvest this and eat it. We've been having quite a few salads from our garden, and I just can't get enough. This is a little area that we have lots of herbs and some kale, lettuce. I love this planter. This stuff is kind of taken over, so I might take one of them out because there's two, and I want this flower to grow bigger and beautiful. And then we also have a tomato. We always run out of spaces for tomatoes, but we can find room. Herb basket. This lettuce is amazing. We've cut off it several times for salad, and it grows back so fast. Like, I cut off this one just the other day, and you can't tell. This one just yesterday, and it'll grow back within a day or two. The basil needs to be cut again. Just so much basil, and I love basil. This flower is absolutely beautiful to me. More kale, and it's looking pretty good. This is my daughter's little herb garden area, so she can make her own lip balms and tinctures and different things. She's got 3 things of lavender, 2 things of mint, and she's planted some chamomile and some calendula. Here is an area where I put a lot of zinnia seeds and sunflowers and coneflower seeds, and a lot of it came up with weeds, so we need to weed it and mulch it or put straw down. This is one of our pepper areas. I don't even know how many's in here. There's about 15 at least of several different kinds, and here we have Hungarian peppers, white peppers, ghost peppers, all kinds of different peppers. And up here is my little pumpkin patch area, which just grows by the day. We're trying to keep it contained in here. I might have planted too many new seeds that are now sprouting because it's going to get outrageously big in here. Look at how big and beautiful these pumpkins are. This is just 2 plants right here. So that's why I'm thinking I probably shouldn't have put so many seeds. These ones are ones I bought as starters, and I just planted seeds last week, and they're already up, so that makes me happy. Right here is a little hot pepper area that my husband did. He has now put twine around it to help support it. And I tried to count how many peppers were on here the other day, and there's no way. I stopped after 35. They're just loaded with peppers everywhere. So we'll be making lots of dried peppers so we can have pepper flakes. We will be pickling some peppers, all kinds of different pepper things. Here is my white pumpkin plant that I grew from a seed in the house and transplanted out here. Not too bad. Here is another one, or 2 it looks like, that are coming up. I'll probably pull one out because 2 that close together on all these isn't ideal. And as you see, it's already very, very crowded. Well, that's it for the garden tour today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a blessed day.